I broke the orbital bone and whatever, but I finished the game. It happened in the Steelers game. What? It happened in like the second quarter. I broke it. I went to the tent. They're like, "Can you see?" I was like, "Yeah." And I went back out there. I just played like this. I was like, "I'm good." I like locate the quarterback with two eyes, lock on with one. You know. So the next week they're like, "No, you have a risk of like losing your eye." I was like, "No, I had a risk losing my eye playing this last game."
All right, welcome to the Fitz and Whit Show. I am Fitz, that is Whit, and this is Jake.
Hi.
Say hi, Jake.
Jakey.
Jake is rebounding after a Buccaneers loss to the Patriots this weekend. But he was wearing a Houston Texans jersey, and that's the reason they had the big comeback. Right, Jake? Yeah. This is a Wave original. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to give us 5 stars. Follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. That's Fitz, A-N-D, Whit. New episodes coming at you, coming in hot every Wednesday.
Oh, man, good to see Jake fresh off his interception this weekend. I'm talking about it, baby. Way to go, Jakey. We're coming into the home stretch here, Fitz. You know, we got some teams that look like real contenders, and unfortunately, we got a few that might just be pretenders. That's the problem.
Oh, we do.
We're going to do that, and then also a little chance to talk about a Thursday night football game that I'm excited about this weekend in New England, a chance to see Drake Maye play up close and personal. I'm looking forward to it. But first, our guest today was the 24th overall pick out of Cal. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro, part of the 2010 All-Decade team, a Bart Starr Award winner, defensive end for the New Orleans Saints. Give a big Fitz and Whit welcome to Cam Jordan, baby. And he's looking good today, too. Look at him, baby, looking sharp.
Hey, you know,
how long have you been going with that mustache, Cam?
That mustache looks good.
It's time for it to go. You know, just Movember. You know.
I like it.
Just Movember. Yeah, just got done with the school visit. You know, it's a Tuesday, so I'm in the school. I'm in the school or some in the community every Tuesday. Came in for a little bit of rehab, and now I'm here. You know, off. It's a bye week, but it's no off days.
Yeah, but you're in high spirits. You guys got your second win, baby. Got the second win, riding high.
We'll take that. We'll take any and all wins.
Any way we can get them, baby.
Any way we can get them.
I'm curious about my guy, Kellen Moore, and how he's doing out there at the helm in his first year as a head coach.
Yeah, I think Kellen's a positive influence at all times. Like, just an upbeat guy. And I think, he also understands, where we are and how we've lost games. Like, he stresses those factors on, hey, this is how we got beat. We had 8 penalties for 75 yards, those hidden yards, whatever it is, versus their 2 penalties. And so for a win, it was like, hey, we eliminated our mistakes. We had these drives that didn't have these random penalties, formations, jump off, whatever it is, inhibit us. So we were able to execute it at a high level.
Cam, I got to ask you, a moment in this game that kind of talked about is, you kind of asserting yourself and just the pride it takes to go in and compete in these games, regardless of your record. In the NFL, man, every week it's about how you go out on a football field and what you look like and how you carry yourself and your football team. What does it mean to you? Like a win like this, it's bigger than just even, really the one stat in the column, but really it's the identity, I guess, that you're trying to create there to get guys to understand what it means to go compete every Sunday. What does that mean to you now at this part of your career?
Man, every locker room is different, but for this one alone, it was like, all right, you see what happens when we get a lead. Our two wins. It's crazy. We got a lead.
We can eat.
Yeah, it's not like you're fighting back. You allow the defense to get, you even up the TOP, your time possession. You allow the defense to get a little rest. Hey, maybe a little juice from the offense is exciting enough, and then you're able to play a little bit more daring football. When you fall behind early on, sometimes you're just trying to cloud yourself out of a hole. Not the same game.
Yeah,
not the same game.
What about our guy? I believe he's in Arizona. Guy, Hamilton High School guy, Tyler Shough.
Yeah.
Now is there? So let me explain to you, Whit. So right now, the high school football scene in Arizona, it's Liberty, it's Basha, it's Hamilton, and it's Chandler.
Excuse me.
Now,
okay.
Well,
are we fourth this year? It must be an off year for us. I don't know.
Listen,
hey.
Last,
you guys were so Hamilton's number 1 this year. You guys were beating Hamilton 36-14.
Just lost, yeah, for the first time in like 8 years. For like the first time in like 6 years, 7 years.
Tyler Shough went to Hamilton and Cam went to Chandler, 2 huge rivals. T-Sizzle went to Hamilton as well.
Tyler went to Perry.
He went to Perry.
Yeah, I think he went to Perry. Yeah, he doesn't.
Sure?
He doesn't know good. He doesn't know good Arizona ball.
All right, but how is it playing with Tyler? I thought he looked good in the first week out there.
Yeah, so I'll say second start, get a win in your second start. That's positive enough.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw somebody whatever it is the reporters came in and was like, hey, he had 128 passer rating. I was like, well, I know we won. I'm not here to formulate passer ratings and all that other stuff. I know we won. I know he completed some deep balls to Chris Olave. I mean, he had a tight windowed pass to Devon Vele or Jawan Johnson. That I was like, all right, that's one of those ones you can rest your hat on.
Ken, what do you think's more stressful this year? You're looking at it like having a first-year head coach, young quarterback. When you're talking about that as a defense, I feel like that really puts a lot of stress on you guys and how you play, really, because you hear this every week. We talk about, well, if you got a young quarterback, you got to play great on D. And now all of a sudden you got a rookie head coach, and you also have a young quarterback. I'm sure for you guys, what's really the mindset and what's the challenges there?
Man, yeah, luckily it's not our first time playing with a young quarterback. Since Drew, we somebody
you circled through him, huh?
Man, yeah. So since Drew, we've had Shough would be our 9th starting quarterback, I do believe. Ooh. I mean, and I probably can't even name all 9, but it's been we've had some time to realize, all right, defense has to be formidable at every turn. Yeah. When you have the guy come in and you got a young guy, you like Spencer Rattler shows promise, but it's like, you don't even have what you want around him. You had offensive linemen in, out, hurt, whatever last year. This year was the first chance to really get some touches. And even then it's like, all right, well, we're getting adjusted to a new offense. Everybody knows what that's like when you have a new coordinator, new head coach. So it had to be on the defense. Bringing in Brandon Staley, which he's had top tier defenses over his stint at being DCs. But still a new coaching staff. New locker room, all the feels. Able to draft a top 10 tackle. As a defensive player, I'm always flabbergasted when you spend a first rounder on an offensive lineman. It's just. That's personal vendettas that seep in. But
you're coming after that guy. I already know.
Man, absolutely. But I think he's a stud. I think that's over the last 2 years we've drafted 2 offensive linemen that are going to be cornerstones for us moving forward, and that's great for us. And at the same time, when you have a young quarterback, you're like, all right, well, targets. We had Chris Olave, we had Rashid Shaheed, and then you have Brandon Cooks, 3 smaller, fast, quick guys. And so it's like, you don't have like a stalwart, Gronkowski, a big body. Hey, I know got position, but you got Jawan Johnson, who's having a hell of a year this year. But when you have a young quarterback, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
And so we pivoted and moved to Tyler Shough, and now we're in the same mentality of show us what we got and let's see what we can work with. And Tyler seems to have brought a little spark to us.
Hey, he did go to Hamilton, by the way, so you can talk that shit. Yes, you could talk that shit in practice for sure.
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely. No, but I guess he can because apparently, they beat the squad.
I must say.
Golly. Hey, I didn't know.
Hey,
I thought he was a Perry guy, Basha guy.
No, he's a Hamilton guy. That's
you
gross,
have to throw something out of his locker when y'all get back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just walk by, send a little message.
Little cold tub action.
That's
was in cold tub, bro.
Yep.
How has your leadership style had to change since Drew left? It just seemed like it was the offense took care of itself and everything. You talked about all those young quarterbacks and the revolving door at quarterback. But for you as a defensive guy, being a leader of this entire team, how's it had to change since Drew left out that building?
I don't think it really has. I mean, in terms of defense, we've had a stalwart between me and Demario Davis, so vocal leaders are always there. And then, of course, guys like Taysom Hill, who have got a stint with started and been vocal enough on offensive side. I think there's always been, Eric McCoy had his last stint there. So there, as long as you got a leader at center, it seems like centers are the second captains of offense.
Yep.
And I never understood that until I've seen Eric get hurt, and I said, "Oh, there's a huge change happening." When did not know. I've always thought all offensive linemen were cattle. That is not true. You got a center that's right there on par with your quarterback.
Somebody's got to tell us where to go.
Absolutely.
So that's going to tell us where to go.
I thought that was
They're
the
usually
quarterback. I
cranky.
didn't know.
No, the centers are usually cranky, kind of, just in a bad mood all the time because they're kind of they're kind of the mother of the offensive line group. They got to tell us where to be, what time, who we got, who we're blocking, and they get tired of us asking. So they're usually the cranky guy in the group, that's for sure.
When you don't know, you don't know. Once Drew left, I said, "Oh, centers do matter. They're not the undersized guys. They're actually the smart guys. This is the cable that connects."
But it's the reason they could be the undersized guys because their brain is so important, right?
That's right.
I mean,
the Alex Mack types, big head, not big body.
Need cranium density, Cam. It's a real thing. Cranium density. You got to have it, baby.
This explains. I looked at Jason Kelce in a new light. I said, that's why he's a little cranky, happy guy. Like he's happily cranky. This makes a lot of sense. He's a mother hen.
Cam, I got to ask you, you just recently, I know you're a guy that you built with a lot of confidence in everything you do, but you did recently get to sack 125. Come on, man. Like, do you ever sit back and go, man, I'm still playing NFL football and to get to a number like that, how cool is that for you, man?
It's amazing. Look, anything after like 50 sacks has been lanyard. Like I got to the league, I was like, well, Dad made 6 Pro Bowls. I got to get at least one and about 40 or 50 sacks. And then, that was my goal. And so once I hit range, I was like, all right, well, the great pass rushers, and I'm a run stopper first. I was like, the great pass rushers get 100 sacks. I was like, dang. I said, that's a lot of work cut out. And as I got closer, I was like, all right, as soon as I get 100 sacks, we'll start readjusting. I was like, 115.5 is unofficial. I was like, 115 is unofficial. I got to get to 115.5 at least. And then so Gardner Minshew was 115.5. And then I was like, I don't want my, a memorable stat for me to be Gardner Minshew. I was like, first sack was Cam Newton, 100 sack was Tom Brady. I don't want, I was like, if this is my last sack, I was like, dang, no, we gotta go on. I
love that.
We got a number 1 pick in the Bryce Young at 125. I'm good with that staple.
That would be impressive to see him list every sack, Fitz, because you just recently had to do touchdown passes that you've thrown to. I would love to see Cam try to list 125.
It goes between 50 quarterbacks. Bryce Young was my 50th quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's significant as well. I'll remember for that one. Most quarterback sacks between a defender and a quarterback is between me and Matt Ryan 23 times. Wow. I've sacked Cam Newton 8 or 9 times, Jameis 7 or 8 times. Then it probably trickles down. Hopefully,
I gotta imagine, Cam, you probably sacked me. I know you batted some of my balls down.
Yeah, just once.
You batting balls down was so annoying to me. I mean, it was just like, this guy is such a nuisance. Not only does it hurt when he hits you, but he's going to knock him back in your face.
Come on. It's got to have big Matumbo vibes. Hey, we get pass deflections out here. I get it. That's my end of the DB celebration. You see what I'm doing over here? I'm locking them up.
Strapped up, baby. Got the seatbelt.
I marvel, though, dude. I marvel at you and DeMario Davis. I got to play with DeMario 2015, 2016 with the Jets, but just longevity and how you guys show up every single week. What do you attest that to? I got to imagine playing in that many games. How many games have you missed? Career 2?
2. Freaking COVID.
We had a COVID one, which doesn't
then
count.
I broke the orbital bone and whatever. But I finished the game. It happened in the Steelers game.
What?
It happened in the second quarter. I broke it. I went to the tent. They're like, "Can you see?" I was like, "Yeah." And I went back out there. I just played like this. I was like, "I'm good." I like locate the quarterback with 2 eyes, lock on with 1. So the next week they're like, "No, you have a risk of losing your eye." I was like, "No, I had a risk losing my eye playing this last game." I was like, "I still." I was like, all right, whatever, dude. I was like, if you're telling me you're hiding my pads, that's the only way I'm not playing. Because in my mind, I'm playing each and every time.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. If I'm gonna go through practice, you want the reward, right?
I'm gonna take these reps. Damn it, I'm getting out there on the field.
I'm getting out there, no doubt. That's just like bye week after you play a game. You're like, oh, you're hurt. You got to go rehab a whole week. If you let me play this game, that means you're letting me take this time off. There's risk reward. I've always played this game with the idea that, all right, if I'm gonna practice as hard as I do, if I'm gonna take all these hits, if I'm gonna make my off season suck by the way I train and the way I take care of my body and how you don't get to eat whatever you want and how you have to take time away from your family to get the acupuncture, to get the needles, to get the cups, to get, the sauna, the steam. You have to go work out for 2 hours. You have to do all this. If I'm going to fully commit, then I'm fully committed. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I want to do all this work and not to get the reward. The reward for me is Sunday. I love taking the field. So if I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to take the field. If I got to hobble and I can only move straight, guess what? I only move straight. Y'all figure out third down. If all I can do is move forward, I'll stop first and second.
Man, that's crazy, Cam. Because look, we know this. We all know this. Have played recently. The guys have changed a little bit in the locker room, just in the sense of some of that type stuff. So you are a rare breed, no matter what era it was. But that's pretty special, dude. So I got to ask you though, we've talked about this recently a couple times on the pod with some of the vets we've had. Have you got a moment where you kind of realized, like, oh man, I can't even remember being a young guy, but wow, like these guys are different. Has one of those happened? Like, damn, I'm officially old. I am officially an old head just sitting around in the locker room.
Yeah, that happened in like year 7 or 8. I think, Marcus Williams came out and he was like, I'm 20. And I was like, oh, I don't want to beat. Like, ew.
I remember guys coming in, they're like, yeah, I was born in 2001. And I'm like, wait, that was my senior year in high school. Holy shit. Like when you start realizing guys were like born in 2000 and past, you're like, oh, wow. Like I am now officially really old to be playing football at this point.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, until I'm running around like Talladega Nights when he was running on the track and he's like, what are those? Are those cars? Until that moment happens, I'm still in there. I'm leading the charge more times than not in sprints. I'm like, y'all, I'm 36. You should be faster than me by now. I'm watching the film. I'm like, my get off's better than. I was like, my get off is still elite. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. You're younger and supposed to be more Springer than this, but I'm rolling off the ball. Where are you? Get your stuff together.
Where are you?
Wait, what was the fastest you ran in a game, Whit? Do you remember? Do you have that?
18.3, I think it was, or 18.5, somewhere in there. But that was chasing a guy on a fumble.
You know what yours is, Cam?
Absolutely not. I know I ran an 18.6 this year, but I've got to ran faster. I mean, come on.
I was when they started putting the chips in the balls and they were measuring like the rotation of the football. That's when I was out. I was like, all right, and we're getting down to that. Like, I don't want to see any of my numbers, man. Yeah, bullshit.
You don't want to know your spin rate? Listen, did the guy catch the damn ball for a touchdown? That's all I give a shit about. I don't care how fast it was spinning.
No doubt. They're like Cam. You only hit 13 or 14 miles a day. We need a little bit more. Guys, I'm coming off the edge. Nobody's hitting top speed in 8 yards. That's all I care.
Exactly.
Show me my acceleration rate. All right, my acceleration is on par. That's all that. I said to get to top speed, that means I'm in a really good spot. Like I picked up I've sacked a quarterback, scooped, and then started running. I'm 30 yards in, or I'm chasing somebody down from across the field, and that's not great for the defense. I said, for me to hit a top speed, I'm not a DB or a wide receiver. I shouldn't be hitting top speed because I shouldn't have the runway to do so. But okay. Yeah, everybody loves to hide behind metrics, so I get it.
Hey, man. I used to, when people would compliment me on tackles, Cam, I said the same thing. It's not good. When I have 2 tackles in a game, guys, that's not a good thing. All right, that's not a positive. Like, don't shoot me. Hey, man, nice tackle. That's great. That means we either threw an interception or we fumbled. I'm not happy about a tackle. All right, and I'm also the most pissed off person in the world to be tackling somebody at that moment.
Absolutely. Like, if an offensive lineman has to make a tackle, he's not going to be happy.
We in trouble. It's not
going to
good.
be happy. Running back, the fumble, tight end, one of the receivers, tight ends that did something, quarterback threw an interception. Yeah, it's not a good thing for an offensive lineman to make that tackle.
So we used to post, it was either in, OTAs or training camp, you'd have those little speed things, and then in the weight room, they would post the fastest times of the day. So quarterback, fastest times, whatever you'd get or whatever.
F that.
And so I took my little tracer out and I gave it to one of the young guys that was doing punt return that day. And I got up to like 21 miles an hour. And so they confronted me on it, though. They knew it was bullshit. But that's what, like, applying metrics. What I got to, Cam, too, I don't know where you're at. When I was playing in Miami, we used to do, like, we had to do a P test for hydration before every practice. And I just got to the point where it was like, guys, look, however old I was, I'm 37, I'm 38 years old. You don't got to be monitoring, like, how much I'm drinking with my water and the P test. And there's got to be stuff like that for you where you're just like a curmudgeonly old man, I would assume.
We went through a similar stint a couple years ago when like we just and like half the team was hurt. It's like, they put those little modules in the bathroom. Like, make sure you're telling us, what color it is. Yeah, red is you're dehydrated, yellow, you're mildly dehydrated, green, you're good. And I was like, bro, I haven't missed any games.
Right.
Except for someone who was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have much for you. I was like, yeah. I get it. I'll be the team guy and I'll tell you yellow every time. But honestly, I have not looked. Like,
leave me alone, basically. Leave me alone.
Like, I knew like I was old the moment we went from the playbook being an actual book to the iPad and up top being able to monitor how much time people were spending on, like, how are you watching it? How I've always watched it on YouTube. Like, I've always watched, like, looked up my top sacks of the week, or I've looked up, my sacks, or I look up career sacks from Dwight Howard or Dwight Freeney, or, whoever the next pass rusher is, because I love watching how they're getting around and how can implement that game. Or I go look up, the Brandon Mebane, big nose tackle, like the way he splits double teams. Like, I'm searching individual people. I want to see the big guys do shit that I couldn't do, so I can try and, like, is it the technique that's different? What can I get away from this? Or, look at Julius Peppers, the way he'd come off the edge, and I'm like, all right, well, he's taller than me, so I can't get that, but I can use the way that he uses his leverage somehow. I'd use YouTube for everything. They're like, well, you haven't used your iPad to watch film, because I can't do what I want to do on. Yeah. Like, it's not the same thing. I'm like,
no question. When they started tracking iPad usage, I was like, get out of my face. Like, what are y'all talking about? I'm not getting on this device, whatever. But I'm the same way, Cam. You know what's cool? I hear you say that is, I think it is too, Fitz, probably so different for quarterbacks. You guys have to watch so much film of the other team and their coverages and rotations and all this kind of stuff. Like, I kind of did something similar, Kim. Like, I love to go watch, so on Fridays, especially when I was in Cincinnati, because we had like a big team room that it was easy to get to the film. I would go in there and I'd put on like all the legends that have like played left tackle. Like, I would ask our video guy, hey man, I need some cuts of like, Tony Baselli and Anthony Munoz and Orlando Pace and Jonathan Ogden. And I wanted to just go watch dudes play that played long before me, and even at the time of me that were considered the best, because I thought it was like inspirational and also like a little bit of reality. Like, hey, I want to go watch this legend supposedly get beat by this guy in a critical moment in a game and be like, all right, well, cool. Like, what did he do wrong? What did he do right? Like, what did they lean on in these big moments, like in a big 3rd and 10 against a great pass rusher? What were some of the things that they played? Were they playing square? Were they using length? What was their get off? Like, what were those things? I just thought it was like inspiring and like cool for me to go watch other guys play more so than the teams, because it got to a point where it was like, I know what defenses are. I know the general rushes I'm going to get. Like, I'm not going to waste my time watching 7,000 plays of the Ravens defense. I want to go watch like all Suggs' like history, like who he beat in his career, and like, all right, shit, this dude couldn't lock him down. This dude could. Like, I want to be one of the guys that did. Like, that was more inspirational to me than like sitting around watching tape, of just the Ravens defense for 582 plays. So I love to hear that. Like, that's what you did. Like, because I wasn't going to sit on my iPad and be like, oh man, these are all the runs we have out of I formation. Like, I could care less. I know blocking schemes. All right, it's not that hard.
Right. Show me 5 of them, and like, how's it different? Like, how does this duo differentiate from the duo I saw
10
last
snaps. All right, I'm good. All right, I'm good. Now I want to go watch guys play.
Love to watch a good flow of the game, the entire game,
So, Cam, there's an argument that I want to propose to you that on Thursday night we have all the time. If we took the all-time team, college football, you got to take all your guys. So, like, obviously, LSU would have a pretty good one. Harvard would have a pretty good squad. Me, Cam Brate, Kyle Juszczyk.
Good squad for what?
Are we playing 7-on-7
yeah,
football?
what are we playing?
It doesn't sound like you got enough to field
7-on-7.
We're playing chess.
Pickleball?
We're playing chess,
are we playing
boys.
Pickleball? What's going on here? Juszczyk?
Okay.
I feel like Juszczyk would be a good pickleball player.
I think Cal Berkeley is underrated, flies under the radar a little bit in their all-time team. Can you make a case for Cal being up there against anybody?
Against anybody. We're probably beating almost everybody. Yeah, if I said like, ooh, my starting receiver is Deshaun Jackson, Keenan Allen, Marvin Jones, that's one of the strongest receiving cores you're going to have. If I say, oh, my backfield consists of Marshawn Lynch, you say you could. I'd say Justin Forsett because I just love the way he's a great switchback. But I could add in Shane Vereen, who's a great swing back. I could throw in Javid Best, who when he touched the league, he couldn't catch him. Concussions got hold of him. But you catch me prime Javid Best, ha. I think J.J. Arrington could be another one prime in there. You say quarterback, of course, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers, and my backup is Jared Goff. You say offensive lineman, you say, Mitch Schwartz on one side, Alex Mack, and then
Tart Glenn.
I'll say we had the big older guy like is it Sebastian Bowman? We had an older Patriots guy. Offensive lineman started eluding me after that. And then when I think about defensive side,
Tony G at tight end too.
Tony G at tight end, bro.
Yeah,
we've low key got one of the most potent offenses in the game already.
I agree.
And then defensive wise, we're going to be really, really great. I'm gonna go myself at left end. I'm gonna put Andre Carter at right end. I think in terms I'll put Tyson Alulu and Brandon Mebane in the middle.
What are we gonna do, Whit? What's LSU gonna do?
Yeah, I'd have
skill wise, we're gonna be all right. I think we'll be okay. Yeah. I think Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Odell Beckham, we probably strike up the band a couple times. But hey, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
Absolutely.
LSU's one of the trenches, but it's one of the
that's true. We're pretty deep in NFL circles. I will say that. Alabama's up there too, but we're pretty deep in the NFL circles. Speaking of that, LSU, Cam, I got to say this: you've obviously been in New Orleans forever, man. As a Louisiana homegrown, that's obviously my home state, somewhere I got a lot of pride in, and heart and soul's there. All our kids, got the opportunity to grow up there, and so Melissa and I, are both from there. For you, man, to have been there your whole career, what is this that city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana meant to you?
Man, met my wife down here, have my 4 kids down here.
Yeah.
There's nothing short of greatness has happened in Louisiana for me. Got drafted here. The work that we've been able to do with the Cam Jordan Foundation, the Legacy Scholarship Program we kicked off last year, sent 4 kids off to public schools, off to colleges this year to pay for all 4 years of tuition. We're just continue growing that. Man, I've been so blessed to enter a state of Louisiana, city of New Orleans, and the greater New Orleans area. When I got drafted here, I got drafted, it was a lockout. There was no pressure for me. There wasn't anybody be like, hey, this is where you go to eat. No, I was like, I came in, got my playbook, got dropped off. And so my first friends were like, the bartender was, the cash register at Best Buy, the sports writer that I just bumped into on the streets. My first New Orleans people were New Orleans people. So, I got nothing but love for this place, and friendships that'll last lifetimes, from my guy, Todd Graves, the big LSU guy, Canes guy, Austin Sperry, Kobe, Stone Spear, my main core friends are all Louisiana folks.
That's awesome. I love that. What's the spot? What's your spot? Give me your food spot. Come on. I know New Orleans, they got a lot of pride. I think we've talked about the New Orleans food scene, but I got to know your spot.
Absolutely. It's not a spot because I'm a foodie. Big backs don't get big back for no reason.
Hey, listen. Amen.
Honestly, if some depends on the day, like a day like today, I'm going to Tacos Del Cartel or, Carnelitos, or if I really just want to chill lunchtime-ish because we're about that time, I go to Rum House off Magazine Street. I get that seafood pepper pot because I like my little, Asian, my little fusion, Caribbean fusion with a little NOLA flair to it. If I'm going straight New Orleans breakfast, I'm probably going Little Dizzy's Cafe.
Oh, Little Dizzy's.
Little Dizzy's. It's a staple.
That's my people.
Yeah, it's a staple in New Orleans. Whenever we have tourists come in, I'm like, all right, let me take you to Little Dizzy's,
100%.
Get you that taste of New Orleans, I'm not, somebody's going to say Cafe Du Monde, and I'm like, please go, if you want the tourist trap, I understand.
That's the tourist trap. Yep, yeah. You're right. Listen, Cam, what about people's faces that have never been to Louisiana? They walk in Little Dizzy's and they just see the spread and it's like, just trust me. Just try out all of it. Don't overthink it. Just put all of it on your damn plate.
What's good here? All your food is going to touch, okay?
Everything's going to touch.
Everything's going to be great.
They just going to put it all over the plate and just eat it. I took Fitz to a couple spots down there. He's been where we go, Kushan? I think we went to the.
Can't go wrong.
We ate a lot of good food. I don't remember where we went with, but we had a lot of good food.
You can't go wrong. even when I need my little my taco fix or I want a sandwich, I'm Barracudas and Frankolinis are right across the street, and I get both.
Yep.
I get tacos and I go over and get a little quick sandwich. Anyways, still not a fan of a muffaletta. Like it's got to be it's got to be a time and a place for a muffaletta. But
here's the thing too, Cam. Like what I think people don't understand too is like you can name anything, and people are like, oh wow, he's naming like a taco place or he's naming what. Like you can go to any food spot you want. There's always some version of a Louisiana, Cajun, New Orleans flair to everything you're eating. It could be an Asian spot. It could be whatever you want. Barbecue. I guarantee you they cook something a little different. There's a little different seasoning. It's just different. Like you could go anywhere you want and you're going to catch a little bit of the culture and the flair of how they cook food.
Somewhere in there, you're going to taste a little bit of that Tony's seasoning salt. You know what I'm saying? It's not McCormick's anymore. I grew up on McCormick's. We don't use McCormick's no more. we moved on.
Damn, but I know you have love for New Orleans. I gotta imagine the draw of Arizona is gonna lure you back after you're done, though.
If there's one spot that could get me back to it's the crib, and everybody wants to play for their hometown. But the fact that I've had so much success here, and then I've loved it so much here, that's literally probably the only spot you could be like, "Hey, Cam, Arizona calling. Does New Orleans not want me anymore?" Okay. If New Orleans closes the door, then that's the only way that I could be like, all right, gotta go home. Phone home.
Stay tuned, Whit. Stay tuned.
I love it. Hey, come on now. I like that. Tell me, Ken, what do you do in the free time? I mean, come on now. Listen, I know at this point you're 15 years older than probably some of the guys sitting in your locker room.
Sounds like he eats food.
Yeah, sounds like you eat a lot. What else you do?
In the off season for sure.
We got some shows. What we do?
Man, I wish I could start up TV. I'm so disinterested in TV right now. So I've gotten into I call it trash reading, bro. I picked up like 3 or 4 different of these book apps that the ones that like scroll. I gotta go on like Facebook to like go see my mom's messages. We did a commercial together this year, right? We did an awesome commercial with Downey, and my mom. It was her first time being in a commercial with me, and I was like, I've pretty much done all my dreams. I've been in a commercial with the family before, been in a commercial with Pops, have done. And now Mom's is in the commercial, and so she's like, all her friends was like, oh, we've been messaging you. I was like, I have not seen a text message, a call, nothing from you. So we're on Facebook. I forget the older community is on Facebook. Okay.
That's it. Yes, they are.
And so I'm on Facebook and I'm going through messages. Oh, appreciate it. Your mom did so well, baby. It's so crazy to see you from knee high to tree high. All her friends. But in there, these random book ads keep popping up because now I'm just in the older generation social media. You know what I'm saying? So I done download like 3 or 4 of these books, these old fantasy novels, romance. I'm like in my mom's library again, like all these older, like fall in love executive type books. I call it smut reading. Like
that's what I was saying. When you said trashy reading, I didn't know it was like
smut reading.
Smutty. This is smutty romantic novels.
That's what I'm saying.
Have you done the Summer I Turned Pretty yet? Fitz and I. Come on.
My husband's a secret billionaire. The vengeance that comes.
Yeah.
Like all these just like corporate get backs, and I'm like, yep, I'm here for drama. Like that's my reality. Instead of reality TV, I'm like in this fictional book mode right now. It's disgusting. I should be better.
Fitz and I, we binge watched. We did a bus trip recently from SoFi Stadium to MetLife Stadium. We took a whole week in an RV and traveled the entire country. It was awesome. But one of the things we did, because we have teenage daughters, is we binge watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. And it is like teenage smut. It's just constant, like love fest of these 2 guys. And you had to choose your team. And so Fitz and I have been into it. We've been because we got freshman daughters. We got to understand what's going on. Listen. Now I found out. Now the worst part is we found out this is what our teenage daughters have watched, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, Mom, where did we make this decision that they were going to watch this show?
Where was your antenna when this came on? Absolutely.
What? I should have paid more attention when she said she was watching it, but now we're down the road of it. So we're trying to figure out what team we're on, and Fitz and I got to finish the series now. We got in 2 seasons.
What are we? 18 years later? Look, I got a 9-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl, and a 4-year-old. But
get ready.
I just like they're big into like the Disney Descendants and whatever the other one is. But so then I was like, yo, I can't keep watching the same movies. I was like, you know what? you guys are gonna love this. You guys want to watch some? I was like, you guys want to watch Twilight? Watch all Twilight. I've never seen a Twilight movie. Watched all of them, and I was like, you know what? I was like, that's the age we're in, and they loved it.
Yes,
They were Team Edward, and I was like, I remember this hype. So now that you're like teenage girl, I'm scared. I don't want a teenage girl. Can my babies just like stop aging at 10? I'm not ready for the boys to enter the fray. I'm not ready for that's going to force me into retirement. The moment Glory Jordan gets a boyfriend, I'm out. I need all attention to be focused here. We're locked in.
We've been dealing with it all year. My daughter, freshman year in high school, third day in school, the quarterback asked her for her number, and she comes home, and mom's excited. I'm like, no chance. What are we? Why are we excited? Why are you excited about this? This is not exciting. Exciting. So I've been dealing with it all year. It's been a thing. But
what is I know what some of my cousins were doing at 14.
Cam, I sent the text to the group. Sherm's like looking at flights right now. Sherm's like, I'm on my way. Where is this kid? Where is this kid? Let's talk to him.
My daughter's 9, and she's like, Dad, I got a boyfriend. I was like, who? I was like, hey, little man, no, it's all good. You guys hold hands. I told the dad, I was like, anything your son does to my daughter, I do to you, bud.
Oh
yeah, we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this. Hey, I'm willing to go the distance. Whatever.
They're 9. That's a little aggressive.
But I'm setting the tone now, so they know I'm crazy for later. You can't
it's just
get
sending a
crazy
message.
one day. You got to know that they need to know that I'm crazy immediately.
Well,
she held his hand. I held his hand. I was like, guess what we're doing? I'm holding. Guess what, bud?
Yes.
Just to let you know, wherever this takes us, just know we're going together.
We're going to the deep water if we have to. All right.
Hey, I don't know if your daughters play basketball. I've got a few spots on my team. Even if I don't, I'll open them up. Get a little youth basketball in there, man.
Hey, I wish, bro. I married a basketball player. She McDonald's All-American from Pasadena, California. Somehow got decided to trash her career and go to Rutgers. You just don't go. You turn down. It's a family argument about it. Dad was wearing Duke gear since she was in 8th grade, and she goes to Rutgers. I said, you know what? Whatever. She went to Cal on a visit and decided to go to Rutgers. Subsequently, she got beat that next year. You know what I'm saying? She got beat by Cal for a reason. And well, you don't turn down whatever. So she goes to Rutgers, but albeit played in pros overseas. And none of our kids want to play basketball. It's weird.
What do you mean? Maybe they just need the right coach to unlock their potential.
That's it. Right, Fitzpatrick.
You know how it works. The kids don't want to listen to their parents, but the next door neighbor, they take it as Bible. It's
right.
Hey, listen, you'd love it, Cam. Fitz is full court pressing 9-year-old basketball, no question. He's bringing it. It doesn't matter what age level, they're full court pressing all game long.
It's okay for girls to be aggressive, isn't it, Cam? Girls can be aggressive out there in sports too.
He's full court press the whole time. The other coaches are complaining, fans are upset. Moms and dads, why are you pressing? Fitz is unleashing the press the whole entire time.
We're here to outwork your girls. Hey, you're going to play my team. You better be able to work.
Yes. All right. So. You've got a job as an assistant youth girls basketball coach when you're all said and done, Cam, in Arizona. Yeah. But I'm curious, you seem to have set yourself up very nice. You've got your podcast. I feel like, watching J.J. Watt, who you guys are same draft class, and his transition into the media has been very smooth. I feel like that's going to be the next step for you. Have you got it all figured out yet?
Absolutely not. Who has it all figured out, I do know I enjoy the landscape, and I've been putting in work since probably year 2 or 3. Look, I didn't have the luxury of going to Houston, Texas, where everybody is, the Texas divided. Texans or Dallas. And we came to Louisiana, one of the lower marketed teams in the NFL for whatever reason. I saw Drew Brees getting commercials. I saw Jimmy Graham getting commercials. And then that was sort of it. Sean Payton, And then, I think my second or third year in the league, I was like, this is my Pro Bowl year, second year in the league. I was like, I've got 8 sacks. I was like, we're a winning team. We're balling. I was like, I'm doing well. And then I saw a defensive end have half the sacks and go to a Pro Bowl. And I was like, what happened?
Yep.
And they're like, well, I was like, everybody knows him, and he went to a Pro Bowl 4, and he's marketable. And I was like, marketability? What's that got to do with the Pro Bowl? We're here for the best players. Fan votes. Okay, how much exposure do you have? And so I was like, all right, I need more exposure. I was like, if I could take care of what's on the field, then I have to be able to get my name out there. And so literally I just turned towards, TV type stuff because of what I needed from it. I was like, I need my name to get out there. I was like, Pops went to 6 Pro Bowls. I have to make a Pro Bowl. I was like, if 8 ain't gonna give me, I'll get double digits next year, which I ended up doing and helped me out. He spoke for itself. I was like, all right, I got to start doing media. I was like, I got to, do some of these interviews. I got to, instead of turning them down, come on in. And I
love that.
And then, made it really, media came from wanting to make a Pro Bowl.
I went to the partnership summit this summer, got an opportunity to kind of hear different brands and players kind of interacting and talking about things. And it was really cool, Cam. One of the people there kind of shared a story about you and how you even got into franchising, some of the stuff you've done off the field, like about how you really reached out. We're like basically, I'm just a massive fan of the brand and the product and everything. And I just want to find ways to get involved. And he shared what a cool story that was of you just being proactive of sharing your love for something. And then that led to down the road, first it's like some kind of branding marketing opportunity. And then it becomes like, all right, I want to get involved. I thought that was really cool, man, that you've always had that, kind of attitude for it. And is that really what it's done? It's built from, I want to market myself till you find out a little bit about the space. And then you're like, man, I'm going to keep pushing and seeing where this thing can go.
Sort of like how you heard me talk about earlier, like football season, I'm all in. Anything that I do, I don't really do half-footed. Like I can't start something and not want to finish it, or at least learn more and understand if I like it or not. So I had a partnership deal, and I was like, the commercial's cool and all, but like I actually really enjoy the brand. I used to walk across the street and grab a slice of pizza from this specific spot. And now that y'all messing with me, I was like, how hard do you mess with me? Because I messed with y'all since I was like 15. Like if I'm in, show me how I can stay in. And then, they just led to opportunity. I was like, man, not only opportunity, it's sort of like a mentorship. Like he's like, yeah, this is what I do. Anything you want to learn, bounce some ideas off me. I love when, you love when you meet good people. When you meet good people, it makes you sort of even more motivated to want to learn more.
Well, you're going to be great at TV if you decide to do that, just with your energy, your well-spoken, your personality, all that stuff. We actually got to be in a commercial together. We did a little Caesars commercial a couple years ago, me and Cam and George Kittle. And I do remember from that, well, first of all, I remember that you were a great actor just because you were yourself and full of energy, and we just kept eating the pizza. And especially George and Cam, as they would bring out this like perfectly crafted
Take
pizza.
a bite every time.
Cam had like 6 pieces. They started getting mad at him because it was like, you got to stop eating the pizza. We're going to run out of it.
I was like, if you got to bring a prop pizza in, because if these things come in hot and ready, I've known hot and ready all my life, brother. Off season, you don't get big back without having a back that's big. Hi, I'm here for all of that.
But I feel like there's some other like hidden talents or interests that you have. I know that one of them, because you were looking at my watch, and it's an Apple Watch, and I think you were making fun of me because you're a watch connoisseur as well. But I feel like there's got to be car collections, watches. What else? What other stuff you into, man?
Man, I try not to be overly competitive in what I do, and I get overly competitive. I'm just all in. Look, on watches, I went all in for a couple of years. I was like, what's the next one? And how do I get to the next one? I was like, but do you see the perpetual calendar? And you can adjust this, and it tracks the moonlight on the moon phase. I'm all in. Whether it's G-Shocks, Breitlings, Omegas, Boulevards, you talk about Rolex, AP, Vacheron. I love the idea that,
He's all in with.
Yeah, I'm all in. And so, when it comes to it, like this offseason, I picked up pickleball. I held my own pickleball tournament by the end of offseason. I'm all in. I got my own.
Nothing is halfway. Yeah. Nothing is halfway. I love that.
Absolutely. What? Wifey knows better. She'd be like, "You want to shoot around?" No, I don't want to shoot around. I want to play pickup. I don't want to shoot around. I don't do well shoot around. I want to win. And I hand out L's to any and everybody I can.
I don't know. I'm gonna when you come back to Arizona, I'm gonna challenge you in a little pickleball game. Maybe we can team up. Maybe it could be me and you. We'll be partners.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for a good playing partner.
We'll go down to the. Now 24 Hour Fitness is out of Arizona. So what we got? LA Fitness left.
Well, you know what though? They now are coming up with a bunch of all the grocery stores that have gone out of business are now like pickleball places. There's a ton of indoor pickleball places.
I'm sure Larry's building a pickleball court facility, I'm sure he's got something coming.
Larry at this point in my mind owns half of Arizona. I just haven't
every bit of it. I just send him a text anywhere I go. Anytime we go there, we went there this year for a Cardinals game. I'm like, hey, do you own this place? Before I go there, I just want to know, just so I can,
line your pockets accordingly.
I want to at least say thank you for charging me whatever you just charged me.
Whit, I heard he did okay with his share in the Suns that got sold, from what I've heard. Did okay.
Yes, he did.
Golly. And that's why I got to figure it out. All I got is football money. I got to figure out this mailbox money situation. Where can I get some extra money?
Ride Larry's coattails. That's what you got.
Amen. I'll just follow him around.
Larry Legend. Fitz Legend, baby. Yep. Golly. Yeah, and he's a great dude. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Are you a golfer at all?
I will promote golfing because I have been golfing. I started off in the first tee program out in Phoenix, Arizona, when I was a child. And because of that alone, my dad made me lose the love for golf very early. In June and July and August,
I was about to
Arizona,
say, it's too hot to be playing golf in AZ.
No. He and the fact that he wouldn't let us like actually drive the golf carts, he'd make us walk 18. Like he'd be like, no, we're going to walk it. Brother, in what world at 8, 9, and 10 years old would I want to be in 110 degrees carrying a golf bag, walking 18? That's not fun.
Cam, I don't know if you know Western Skies. It's in Gilbert, but probably not too far from where you grew up. But they used to have a deal that was like $25 all you can play in the summertime because nobody in their right mind is going to be out there, right?
Except you.
And my brother and I did 108 holes in one day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 108 in one day.
For what?
A lot of
charity?
Gold Bond, a lot of water. But just the love of the game, Whit, you know?
No, that's not love of the game. That's insanity.
Hey, you know what? I appreciate that commitment. If you're going to go,
Go all the way, baby.
go all in.
Go all the way, just
we
like
can
Cam
go all
Jordan
in for
does it.
18. I don't know about 108. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Let's get 18 in.
Just
I
like
think about that
what I be
now.
seeing on those World Poker Tournaments. I love when a guy goes all in early. Hey. Not even going to look at the card. We're going in blind. I like me. Let's see where this takes us.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Good luck in the rest of the year. It's been awesome watching you over the years, and the fact that you continue to do it at a high level says a lot about you, and we are in awe every week, so appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's
Appreciate
a sickness.
you, brother.
I just like hitting people. I've told people all my life, I just want to hit people. God gave me 2 hands. I'm trying to place them on somebody.
Amen.
Anyway,
All right,
appreciate y'all.
Good luck with that in retirement.
Appreciate it,
We'll see
Cam.
what you do.
It's not going to work well. I'm going to straight to pickleball.
Yeah.
We're building a house in Arizona right now. I'm going to have a pickleball court by February.
Is that what all the cranes are down the street from me? Your house? Wow.
Hey, I love to object, but my wife's house, her house keeps getting
Yeah, I was
bigger.
about to say, how many years are we into this process right now? 5 years? Oh, gosh.
Hey, the longer you play, the more you can extend out. You know, 4,800 square feet and has now turned into. That's what our, whatever our ranch style modern something house that my wife has put together. It's her forever home. Yeah. I get to live there, but it's her forever home. It's her dream house. Hey, God is good. Yeah. Y'all take me out of here. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
All right, Fitz, I'm going to ask you this again. What do great football and great sex have in common?
Well, there's always snacks at halftime.
Sure, but any way you do it, Rose Sparks makes every round of sex feel like winning a championship. Do you know what that feels like, Fitz? I'm not a real Rose Sparks user, but I'm excited to tell you what it's all about.
Rose Sparks, 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who want harder, more controlled erections. They hit the bloodstream fast. They sure do. Because they dissolve under the tongue, and getting hard fast means there's less waiting to perform.
Plus, this dual action formula stays active in your system for up to 36 hours. So you can be ready for round 2 and even the morning after.
Whit, if prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan.
Connect with a provider at ro.co/fitsandwit to find out if prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/fitsandwit for $15 off your first order.
Sparks is a compounded drug product. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. For full safety information, go to ro.co/safety-info. Toyota is all in all season. This year, we're going deeper and giving fans more to lose their minds over, bringing back another exciting year of Toyota Game Day giveaways. The official automotive partner of the NFL is rewarding football fans with a chance to win epic giveaways every week of the season.
That's right, Fitz. Predict between big plays happening in the second half of every Sunday night football game and get a chance to win prizes like Brock Purdy's Sequoia, NFL shop merch, and more.
This week's giveaway is Lions versus Eagles. Whit, why don't you tell the people what they could win?
All right. Here we go. Participants, you have a chance to win a $100 NFL shop gift card. Big Whit jersey, maybe. The holidays are coming up. Good time to get some early shopping done, baby.
It's 22 weeks of fun and thousands of prizes. Head over to toyota.com/NFL to learn more. That's toyota.com/NFL.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends on 2/8/26. Open to legal residents of the 50 USDC, 18 and over. For complete details, how to enter, prizes, and official rules, visit www.toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com.
Wow. Big thank you to Cam Jordan. He's an Arizona high school football legend. And, obviously his career, I got to play against him a couple times, especially with my time in Tampa, getting to watch him up close, and just really a model of consistency in leadership and showing up every single day, and has been a huge part of the Saints' success over the years.
No doubt, Fitz, and not to mention playing through an orbital bone fracture. Pretty crazy. I mean, this guy's an absolute maniac. You feel his energy in every room. Even on this, just getting a chance to talk to him, it's just, man, the guy is 1,000 miles an hour. He has set the tone for a long time. He's an Arizona legend, but he's also now a New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans Saint legend for his career there. Only missing 2 games his entire career. What a freaking stud. Unfortunately, I am on the 125 list of sacks that he's got in the NFL. So that's, not that I'm bitter about it. I only tell him every single time I see him that I hate him. But listen, love the guy. He's an absolute legend for everything he represents, man. And he's going to be a stud when he's done playing. He's going to be in the media space somewhere, calling games on broadcast somehow. He got his own podcast already that he's been doing for a long time. This dude really sets the tone with his energy and everything he does.
Yeah, and I was trying to pin him down to see where he was going, if he was coming for our job.
He wouldn't tell us. He wouldn't tell us. We get worried these guys are going to come for us, man. I think I don't know, by the fact that he didn't say, I think we're in trouble. But
yeah, he was
hopefully
being
he doesn't take our job.
Thanks for Roe for sponsoring this segment. And now, Whit, as you know, it's time to tell the people who had that big Whit energy of the week.
Big Whit energy, baby. Listen, here's the thing, Fitz. We got some O-line play that's been getting highlighted lately. I love this. It's like, man, every week I get on X or Instagram and get a chance to just see somebody talking about great blocks. I saw our guy Darnell Wright, who we just gave it to. Another good week of a couple explosives. Has had some sick plays, this past week against the Giants. But this week, I get a chance to give this to whoever I want. And I think for me this week, I'm going to give it a little hometown cooking. And that is, I'm going to go, although there's been some great representations across the league this week, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. That's right. You look at this performance they just had against the Niners. You know what? Hey, listen, the Niners are down some guys, but you still got to go out and perform. This is the NFL. I looked at these 2 interior players, Kevin Dotson and Steve Avila. I got to tell you, man, these 2 dudes have been difference makers for the Rams, really since they got put in the lineup. I think Alaric Jackson's had an unbelievable season. Coleman Shelton's doing his thing, and Rob Havenstein's back, baby. But these 2 guys in the middle, man, anytime your offense is top 5 in yards per game, top 5 in scoring, and top 5 in the least amount of sacks given up, the big fellas are doing something up front. So in this game, I'm going to lean to Steve Avila for big Whit energy. Him and K-Dot played great, but let me tell you something. If you go check it out on social media, you can find this clip. Steve had a play where he actually went bowling in this game, all right? He, on a screen to Puka in the game, actually gets 3 guys. He knocks 1 guy into 2 and 2 into 3, and they all go rolling. It literally looks like he's bowling. Big Steve last year moved to center, didn't work out. They moved him back to left guard, was a little banged up. And, this season, now that he's gotten healthy, he is showing why they have been a different team up front since he's been in that lineup. I love Steve. I love the passion and energy he plays with. Not to mention, if you want to go watch the last part of the game, the snap count that he goes full acting mode and takes a dive when the guy jumps off sides and rolls on the ground. I think they gave him an Oscar on the Rams social account. But you know what? This guy is full of life and fun, man. He is one of those guys that just, not only the way he plays, but the energy he brings, he's a different dude in your locker room. So Steve Avila, big Whit Energy, baby.
Congratulations. I can't believe it took this long for you to give a Ram one of those awards. You know, you're such a homer at this point. You mentioned the screen to Puka. There are just certain guys. First of all, there are certain teams that teach it the right way, but it's an absolute skill to have a guy like Puka to be able to run that play. It's the vision of a running back that he has. It's his physicality and being able to break arm tackles. And then some of those, the wide receiver screen sometimes isn't great when it's press coverage, when that guy's tight up on him. And he somehow finds a way to get it done, take a few steps upfield, be physical with the guy, come back and set up the block of the tackle to kick his dude out. But he's got a real talent for that. And even when teams know it's coming and they try to counteract it, it's really hard to do when Puka gets the ball in his hands.
There's no doubt, Fitz. And I think when you look at their teams in general, that's what makes it tough. When you have a Devontae Adams on one side and you got Puka on another, and you got to worry about those kind of screen plays. I mean, that's something as a defense you really have to adjust a little bit to teams that do it well and block it really well. But then you got the problem of, what if Devontae Adams is on the other side of the field and you don't take attention to that spot? It's the challenge. So it really, Puka's ability to really create with the football in his hands, much less what he does, in route running and in the run game and everything else, really adds an element to who they are. All right, Fitz, I want to get into a little bit this week. We talk about this contender versus being a pretender team thing, and we ride this roller coaster all season long of who we think's good. Every week it changes, but let's talk about how fast the NFL really does flip. All right, let's go back a month. All right, right now, let's go back a month in the AFC. All right, in the AFC, you had the Colts 1, the Bills 2, Steelers were probably the 3 at 3-1, Chargers, Jaguars, Broncos, Patriots. Of that playoff group right there, if you said, hey, that's where we stand after the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and now you flip it and you say, all right, really, has it changed any? No, we got the same teams. It's just moved all over the place. Now the Colts are 1, the Broncos are 2, the Patriots are 3, the Steelers are 4, the Chargers are 5, the Bills are 6, and the Jaguars are 7, holding on by a thread. And there's a team that I think the greatest Super Bowl odds on is not even on that list in the Kansas City Chiefs. When you look at this and you say, all right, we've moved this much in a month, who's your contender and who do you unfortunately think might be a pretender?
Oh, Whit.
Come on, you got to be honest.
Well, let's have the first conversation and pin some of these down on division winners, okay?
Okay.
So, it's over. Indy's won the AFC South. Is that correct? Are we both in agreement?
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Is it over in the AFC East?
I'm going to go Patriots. I don't think it's over, but I think the Bills have a really, really tough road to getting back ahead. I mean, we got to see the Patriots fall in a game like we have this week. They got to lose some that now you don't think they should.
Yeah, so that's what I went from. The Bills are still going to win the AFC East this last week to doing the, okay, what's the rest of their schedule? Are they going to finish 10-7? Which, they
got some challenges.
I know they have 4 home games left, and so they're pretty damn good at home, so I'm feeling good about that. Now it's like, can the Bills, as long as they get into the playoffs, we're going to be just fine. They're going to figure it out. It's all about quarterbacks. Josh Allen's the man. Okay, I'm not so sure about the division anymore. What about the AFC West? Is it a done deal? We'll know if it's a done deal this weekend, right? But do we think it's a done deal? We think
I don't think it's a done deal at all. I think there's still a long road there, but I think Denver could make a massive step if they beat the Chiefs this weekend. That is it would be a challenge because I just don't think the Chargers are going to be good enough to get themselves back in this.
Okay, and then AFC North, I think we're both in agreement here that is Baltimore's.
I think Baltimore's going to walk them down. I think they're going to walk them down.
I don't know. It's hard for me to watch the last game that we had and not say that the 8-2 Denver Broncos are pretenders. I know they're really good on defense. I know Sean Payton's a great play caller. I just think the inconsistency on offense has to catch up with them at some point. Are they going to make the playoffs? They sure are. They're sitting at 8-2 right now. It would take an epic collapse of colossal proportions for them not to make the playoffs, but I just don't see them as a contender this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. And here's the wild part. I was watching the Bills game, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just numb to it at this point. I'm like, man, they're going to get beat by the Dolphins, but I still love them for their chances to make a run in the playoffs. And so it's kind of one of those things that I just looked at the game and I'm like, God, they don't like matching up against this Dolphins team. Like it's not a great matchup for them this season to who they are on defense really. And then offensively, I just think it's not a great matchup for them. But it's like, I still like them like they just proved a week ago against the Chiefs. I like them against a team we love to make another run in the Chiefs. I like them against the Broncos. Like I still think there's the Colts. Like I still like them in that game. Like I think that I don't lose any more faith in them being contenders, but I will say they really got to stay healthy at this point and even get healthier. So anybody else and they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stick with my Houston after 0-3. I said they're making the playoffs. I got to stick with it. Whit. Davis Mills helped me out this last weekend because if they did not beat Jacksonville, that one would have been over. But their defense is too good. Their defense
really
is
freaking good.
Unbelievable.
Danielle Hunter's unhuman.
He's unhuman. He really well, and Stingley too. Stingley's the best corner in football right now.
They got some freaks on the defense side of the ball. So what about Patriots? Let's just go Patriots. Contenders or not?
No, I think they're still.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to hurt them. I think they play the right brand of football to be good in the playoffs. I just think what's going to hurt them is the competition this year when they start to face some of these really good teams. I know they beat the Bills in Buffalo. I know it, which was an amazing win, but I think they're still a year away from being contenders. What about you? Don't pin me. Hold on. Don't pin me down. What do you think about New England? Vrabel's going to be mad at me. He's going to be pissed at me when we go see him on Thursday.
Listen to me. Playoff football. What Vrabel's done. I mean, I think that this team is as talented as the Tennessee teams that Vrabel made runs with. So, I mean, I look at this team and I say, hey, physically how they play on defense. So they got a really good lockdown corner. Offensively, what Drake May's done with the football. They're starting to develop some explosion in the running game. Seeing Trevion Henderson get after it. Like, I mean, I just, listen, that was the Tennessee Titans teams that made some runs and shocked people in the playoffs. And right now it looks like they're locked to make the playoffs. That's playoff winning football. And if they win the division and get a game in New England, that's another challenge. You got to go up to New England in that weather and play that style of team. I think that puts the advantage in their hands. So here's what I'll say. Are they contenders in the sense that I think they can get in the playoffs and win some football games how they're built? Yes, I do. I think my concern for Buffalo is whether they can stop anybody. And I think that the league has leaned a little bit defensive this year. We'd say the most successful teams, for the most part, are all playing great defense. And so I think that, to me, I think the Patriots are contenders for that fact alone. But I still think that if I had to pick three in the AFC right now that are legit contenders to win it and be there,
then New England and Denver aren't on that list, right?
No, I'm going to say I'm going Chiefs. Something tells me that the Colts won't be there. I'm going Chiefs. I'm actually going the Bills. With a question mark on the defense, I'm scared about that pick. And then I actually think this Patriots team's built to be there. I think they got a chance. I think they could be the Commanders of last year. Like they might surprise some teams and make it to the title game, and I think that might be where it ends.
Really?
I think they could be there.
I don't see it. So Indy's off your list. So you think Indy's a pretender? I would have Indy in that list.
It's tough. There's been a couple cracks the last few weeks where I'm questioning, Jonathan Taylor's obviously an insane player. They are built with an offensive line, which I do love. Losing DeForest Buckner, I think, is going to really hurt them. You look in that game, creating pressure on the other side of it was trouble for them, and they struggled there. I'm a little concerned defensively. We're losing him, one of their great pass rushers. Like, are they going to start to run into that problem that you probably say the Bills have a little bit when they're not healthy up front? Can they get to the other quarterback, and does that make them a little more susceptible in defense? That's what I'm concerned about. I think the Colts are right there. You could flip, honestly, to me, Colts Patriots all day. Like, I think the next couple weeks will tell us. I think how the Patriots play in this next stretch will tell us, and I think the Colts, I think this second half of the season, one of these two teams is going to show us their real identity, and I think that they're going to be. Those are the two teams that I would have in there to flip.
I loved Richard Sherman's take on the Sauce Gardner trade, not because he doesn't think Sauce is a great player, but he said, okay, look at the landscape of the AFC. How does that move the needle? How does that move? Who are you going to put on him versus Kansas City? Rashee Rice, maybe, but there's other guys, and he's not necessarily like the dominant one they're always going to. Is it going to move the needle against the Bills? Who's he going to cover? Keon Coleman? He hasn't had a very big year. Who's he going to guard versus Baltimore? I thought it was an interesting point of
I agree.
Wasn't necessarily the piece he thought they needed. He thought they needed another pass rusher, somebody to get after the quarterback. Yep. And now, look, I've never been in a place where adding good football players to your team doesn't help your team. So I think it will be helpful to them. But he swayed my opinion a little bit on me thinking, gosh, this is it. They're all in. What a great move. How much does it move the needle in this landscape of the AFC?
Let's go NFC, Fitz. Do you want to go NFC?
Seattle, it's official. They're a contender. It's official. They have to be, right? But I just been waiting. It's one of those, you're just kind of waiting. Okay, is it going to fall off? But look, they're great on defense. The way the offense, if they can be in games where it's not straight drop back, come from behind, that's what this offense is built for, and that's when Sam Darnold's best. So
Fitz, are we going to do this in both conferences? Are we going to say, I'm going to ask you, we just said about the Colts, we're iffy. Like, they may be the third team in our contender list, right? So I would say that you could argue a couple teams in the AFC. The Colts are right there in the third, probably. They're not 1 and 2 to me in contenders. Been in first place all year. Eagles, been kind of in first place all year for the most part. Like, contender, pretender, where are we at?
I mean, my 3 favorite teams in the NFC are Seattle, LA, and Detroit.
Yeah.
Is your list different or no?
It's not any different. It is the list, which is wild. Let's think of the league. After week 1, people thought the Packers were Super Bowl bound and unbeatable. Woof. Last 2 weeks, just not anything like what that team looked like.
Yeah, it's been really disappointing, and I've been surprised at that one. The Bucks too. I love Baker. I love Tampa. I need Bucky Irving back. We need him back bad.
Big time.
But I don't know. My confidence in the Bucks is waning, unfortunately. But okay, so we're pretty Seattle, LA, and Detroit. We're pretty firm on there. I think those are the 3 contenders in the NFC, and so do you. My question becomes with Tampa Bay. All right, so they're at Buffalo and at the Rams the next 2 weeks. Let's say they lose both those games. They're sitting at 6-5. Is there any chance in hell that Carolina can win the NFC South? Is there any chance in hell?
I mean, the Bucs have a tough schedule. So do the Rams. I mean, that's the thing. I'm a big fan, obviously, of the Rams for a lot of reasons. But, man, you look at the schedule, the games. I mean, you got Seattle, Bucs. They play the Lions. And then right before we have them on Thursday night, they have the Lions, then the Seahawks in Seattle. Their schedule closing this thing out is probably the most challenging in that NFC group to me, just because of really where the games are. And then in the season in Atlanta, and then at home against the Cardinals, which is another physical team. I just look at the physicality of the teams, not necessarily the records, but the actual physicality of the teams that they have left on their schedule. Man, that's a brutal stretch to get through. So I think for me, they're going to prove some mettle in that, but they've also got to get through it healthy to really be fully intact, because we've seen some of these teams that have these brutal finishes, regardless of how good they are. It's just tough to keep fielding the team through all of that stretch.
Yeah, and I just think with the NFC, what I look at too is some of these dome teams versus some of these outdoor teams, and the weather. It played such a factor last year in the NFC with that Rams-Philly game being in Philly, that's going to be huge coming up here too. think Detroit would want to play indoors if they could. Jared Goff.
What do you think about Dan Campbell taking it over as the play caller?
How about that? I mean, and I love the fact, too, that like the humility of that guy to come out and just say, you know, Morton's still a huge part of this, and we just thought we needed a change up. But you could tell the guys responded. And even in some of the post-game interactions and interviews, like Jameson Williams, and kind of he hinted at it a little bit, just a different vibe and energy. You know, he knew he was going to get involved. I thought that was great. And look, usually you don't trust a former tight end to call plays in the NFL, but pretty high standard he set for himself. Got to score over 40 points a game now. But, yeah, they were humming on offense on Sunday.
Yeah, rare dude. And I thought, you know, one of the things that, you know, has kind of been the narrative this year is like getting Jameson Williams involved, and they've struggled to do it and blah, 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 blah. And then to see him on that drive, it's like I'm giving this dude the rock. Like I'm finding ways to just make sure he's getting it. I thought the coolest thing was he goes, he scores, and you could see one of the coaches grabs him and like pushes him back to Dan Campbell. Like, hey, go over there and like say thank you to coach for getting you involved and getting you that rock and serving it to you. Like it was neat to see that was clearly an emphasis. It was clearly important to them. And it's like, hey man, let's make sure, like, you want the ball. You got to make sure, hey coach, appreciate you coming at me. Appreciate you bringing it my way. I think that like Dan Campbell has shown, man, he is unbelievable when it comes to building identity and energy in a positive way and just feeling like we're unbeatable, indestructible. We can go for it on any down. Like this game, we're going for it on every fourth down. This game, we're going to run it in every one of these situations. Like he can create these mantras and mindsets with his team. And I think that as the play caller now, I think, you know, you can see that what I think is going to be the best part, whatever the identity of who they want to be when they go into this game, you got a guy calling it who does not care if it fails, if it's what he believes in. So he is going to go at it in a way that, you know, with reckless abandon, if you will. And so I think it's going to be fun to watch him as the play caller the rest of the season.
Yeah, speaking of reckless abandon, I don't know why the Eagles didn't just punt on their last possession.
I was so confused on that one.
You made it so much easier for the Packers to have a chance at that game. All they needed was 3 points. It made no sense. It wasn't 4th and 2. It was like 4th and 6. And you throw a goal ball down the sideline. It worked out, but did not love the decision. All right, Whit, this week we're headed to New England. Got a little Patriots versus Jets. Jets on a 2-week win streak with his Hughes. You called the one last week, which was awesome. You said, look at this. They're going to trade their best players, and they're going to have one of these rebounds where all of a sudden they're going to play out of their minds. A couple special teams touchdowns helped that one out for sure. But I think we've seen that story happen before. Now let's see if they can do it 3 games in a row. I'm excited about the game. I'm more excited to see Brady. Got to check in. We'll go over to Brady's dorm. We'll check in. We'll see how clean it is. We'll see if he's cleaned his sheets yet. You know, he's probably wearing the same sweatshirt, hat, and sweatpants he's been wearing all semester. But we got to check in. I mean, he's a freshman. He's almost through the first semester already. Yeah,
I mean, hey, listen, there's a lot that goes on in the fall of your first year in college. I mean, I kind of want to see how he's adapting, man. I want to see how he's adapting. I want to meet his friends. Hopefully I get a chance to meet the roommates. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Shout out to Arjun.
Arjun, what up, baby? I want to meet the circle. You know, you got to know the circle he's hanging out with. Get a little idea what we're doing, boys. I want to know what we're into. You know what I mean?
Here's actually what I'm excited about for you, because I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. It was the first time he'd ever been on a subway. We went on the T. He was very proud of you. But when we had that trip, we went into Annenberg, which is the freshman dining hall, which is the one that looks like Hogwarts, and we got kicked out. And so now that Brady's got a swipe card, we can go eat at Annenberg.
We're in, baby.
We're in. So we can check out the meal. We can get they have the ice cream, the soft serve there. So we're going to be able to either do I don't know if it's going to be a lunch, a dinner, or a brunch on Friday morning, but I will get you in at Annenberg and we'll be able to have a meal. I mean, I'm paying enough for this food, so hopefully we'll get it for free, but we'll
hopefully
see.
It's up to standards.
Oh, my
Speaking
goodness.
of up to standards, Fitz, when you look at this game and you talk Patriots, Jets, talk to me about Drake Maye. Are you excited to watch this guy up close and personal? What is it about him that, what you think is looking promising?
It's been incredible to watch him this year. I think the first thing that jumps out at you is the way that he's thrown the deep ball this year. Historical pace, unbelievable, unprecedented. His accuracy down the field, 20-plus yards, has been great. I think going into this year, what we were excited about, Vrabel became the head coach. He made Josh McDaniels the offensive coordinator. Steph Diggs was going to be coming off an injury and healthy to give him a bona fide number one receiver. I don't know. I think preseason-wise, people thought they had a chance at the playoffs this year, but I don't think anybody predicted this. I don't even know if Mike Vrabel could have predicted this. The start they've been on, beating the Bills at home, the only team to do it in the last 12 attempts in Buffalo. And then the impressive win against the Bucs. This team, yes, they have a soft schedule. Yes, they've beat the teams that now they're supposed to beat, but the teams that have shown up on their schedule that you think, okay, well, here might be the regression, they just continue to impress with Drake Maye. The thing I want to see more from him, that he's just, the amazing thing is he can continue to get better. Taking a lot of sacks the last few games. Every now and again, if he's unsure of where the ball's going, his first inclination is to kind of hold on to it. Great thing about that, not a ton of turnovers from him this year, but that's something as they continue to get going in this offense that you're going to see him get better and better. And the other thing I'll say, we got to see this offense operated at the highest level it'll ever be operated at with Tom Brady and Josh McDaniel and the relationship they had and how far along Tom was at the end of his career. Drake is in the infancy of this offense. He's essentially on level one. If we've got the 10 levels with all the building blocks, he is just learning this thing, and the guys around him are just learning it. So that's why it's been really impressive for me this year to see not just the success, but the sustained success week after week with Drake.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the two head coaches, you look at where Vrabel's at. He's having this experience already of being a head coach and the impact he had in Tennessee. You see how fast he's able to really impact New England, a place where he played and had a huge impact as a player, and really has a locker room that's sold on the energy, the culture, and really the mentality that Mike Vrabel brings to your team and what he wants to play like. You see that there is a full commitment to that style of football. And on the other side, you have Aaron Glenn, who we got a chance to spend some time with at the owners' meetings last year. What an amazing dude. Just the vibes, the words that come out of his mouth, you can tell there is a passion and an energy to play football the right way, the way he played it. It's like he's still on that journey of finding who are the guys that want to commit to that style, that identity, and who we are. And I think that those trades really speak to that. Not that, Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams weren't great players, but hey, I want to make sure that really the starting point is we have draft picks, we have the ability, money-wise, cap-wise, everything, to go and keep adding players that are going to buy into who we are and who we are going to be every single week. And that's not a crack on them or get diss on those guys, but it's more of, hey, I want to make sure I'm the voice, I'm the leader, and this is the mantra that we're going to go forward with. And I also think it shows Jets leadership is fully saying, hey, we're going to give the control to Aaron Glenn, and we're going to say, hey, man, we're going to trade away a couple of our good players, and we're going to say, hey, this is your show, your culture, you build it. We're going to give you a real shot to create an identity like what Mike Vrabel's been able to do. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, can they continue this? These last couple of weeks, there's been a stride there. When you're scoring special teams touchdowns, when you're doing some of the things they've done, you can tell there's a buy-in. And so I want to see how long can this buy-in last, and really without some of the great players they have, can they continue throughout this season to show that identity? We think of how long it took Dan Campbell to get the Lions to play that way. There was a downtime there when people thought, man, this isn't working. You would imagine he's going to copycat that mentality. And so I'm interested to see the New York Jets team that shows up on Thursday night, because one thing we have seen on Thursday nights this week, Fitz, these division matchups, it doesn't matter. Throw the record out, throw whatever you think's going to happen out. It's about who shows up on Thursday night with a willingness to go play football the way it's supposed to be played and can execute the best. And that's really what's going to matter.
We started out the season so great in terms of the games, and we've had a few duds the last few weeks, Whit. So this would be nice to get back going again. What was interesting about last week, we start off the week with a 10-7 game, and then, of course, it gets bookended with a 10-7 game. Green Bay and Philadelphia, which was funny. But our schedule, Whit, I was just looking at it. So, look, I'm excited for this week, in Jets-Patriots division game, but I get to go to Boston, see Brady. That's added for me. But then, our schedule after this, Buffalo at Houston, Chicago at Philadelphia for Black Friday football, Dallas at Detroit, Atlanta at Tampa, L.A. at Seattle. I know you've got an interest in that one. We've got Denver at Kansas City on Christmas, which that could be for all the marbles in that division, right? And then we've got our wild card game. So it's like after this game, every single week there's a storyline that I'm looking forward to. So thank you again to the NFL
playoff
for that
implications.
season. Yeah,
I mean every single week is going to be that. It's going to be, man, every one of these games is going to dictate playoff implications in a big way. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to go straight into from our last game. Wasn't great. 10-7. Denver pulls off the victory, goes to 8-2. But I found as I was walking back to the green room after the game, I found our beard of the week.
You did.
Oh my goodness. See if you can pull up the picture on our little rundown here, Whit.
Oh man.
The guy was a beautiful man. He's got his Bo Nix jersey on and his cowboy hat, but when you're talking, this is one of the more unique
that's
beards.
A beauty.
Isn't that nice?
I like
nice
the cowboy
white
hat.
beard.
Brings an extra energy to it.
It does. You could tell he plays Santa at the mall.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's got some big hours at the mall coming up because that was one of the better beards I think we've seen all year.
And the mustache clipped up. I mean, you see that? I like this guy. I like to line the mustache. So this is crucial.
Yeah, it almost felt like silk when I touched that thing. It was so beautiful and well maintained. Hit us up on social media. Nominate a friend or yourself for our next fan beard of the week. We'll also be walking through Harvard Yard probably Wednesday and Thursday. So if there's any of you college folks that can grow the beard, we'll be very interested to see. I couldn't grow one at college. I don't know about you, but I was pure peach fuzz till age 25. So
I'm pretty sure I had sideburns when I was like 13. So I was in beard territory for a long time. All right, this week on Thursday Night Football, we're honoring Medal of Honor recipients, and our second guest today is one of them. Of the more than 40 million men and women who have served in uniform since the Civil War, only 3,528 have received this distinction, and only 61 are alive today. 45 from the Vietnam War and 16 from the Global War on Terror. So needless to say, this is a big deal. For his courage in Afghanistan, give a big Fitz and Whit welcome to the Medal of Honor recipient, Sergeant Ryan Pitts. Come on, baby. Yo. Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Fitz and
Thank
Pitts
you.
today. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Can we call you Pitsy or no?
Doesn't matter to me. It works. I've been going by Pitts forever. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us. I have to just get this out in the open first. I need to know you're from Lowell, Mass. Does that mean you're a Patriots fan?
Yeah, I when I thought I was going to be on with you, it brought back some rough memories there.
I was about to say, this is getting personal already.
We're both on from that, so.
Rough memories, but a lot of good ones too, a lot of good ones. You know what I just don't get about this? It's like you guys had Tom Brady for so many years, and now you get Drake Maye. Like, it's just not fair. It's not fair, Ryan. Everybody in the AFC East. Yes.
Yeah, I would hate us if I wasn't a Patriots fan. I'd hate my team too.
Yeah, we've been really happy, all of us AFC East fans that are non-Patriots fans, the last few years, and how bad you guys have been. What are your thoughts on Drake Maye before we get going here on the good stuff?
I love the attitude that he's bringing. I love seeing him like vibe with the team. Like, as you guys know, being a part of a team, culture's huge. Like, who you're doing it with and how you feel about each other really impacts the game. I love how unselfish he is. He's, critical of himself. I think those are things that you want in a leader. Somebody who looks at stuff and says, I can be better. I need to be better. Nothing's ever good enough. I think it's an exciting time to be a Patriots fan.
What was your initial draw, Ryan, to join the military? Were you from a military family, or what was your initial thoughts in wanting to serve our country?
Yeah, I wasn't from a big military family. I'd had that interest when I was a kid, like so many young kids, of just like, hey, the Army's cool, all these cool tanks and ships and all that stuff. But, it drifted from my mind as I got into high school and got distracted with other things. As I was getting near the end of my senior year, friends who were applying to college, they seemed like that was the right fit for them. They knew what they wanted to do. It didn't seem like a fit for me. Came from a modest background, blue collar family. They would have done everything, to help me go to school. But I don't think I would have been the best steward of their resources at that time. I wanted to get something out of that time. I didn't want to just take off this time in between school. And I knew that I would get a lot out of it. And so I look back on it, and I maybe shame's harsh, but like there's guilt of, I wish that it had been that altruism, that true patriotism of like, hey, this is just about serving my country in a time of war. Because I do believe that now. But what was amazing about, coming together in this team is there was people from all over the world. I didn't know that people from other countries joined at a chance to become a citizen. Like, it doesn't guarantee you're going to be a citizen. You still have to go through all the same, hoops and wickets. I had guys that I served with that became citizens during our deployments. One of the guys that died saving my life was an immigrant from Mexico, right? People join for all these reasons, whether it's citizenship or adventure or family. Once you get there, it doesn't matter because you're fighting for the men and women to your left and your right. That's what it's all about. And, they make you better than who you are. You guys have probably been on teams like that where it's like, hey, somehow 1 + 1 = 3 here. Like, we are better than we are even just individually. And I was really fortunate with the people that I got to serve with.
Take us a little bit, through that fateful day in Afghanistan in July of 2008, and really your mindset there.
Yeah, so this is end of a 14-month deployment. This is a really tough part of Afghanistan. So this is where Medal of Honor actions for Michael Murphy. This is where Lone Survivor, same region, Sal Junta's award, Kyle White's award, the Outpost with Ty Carter and Clint Romeshay, same sort of region of Afghanistan. Our whole battalion had been through it, through the ringer. Every company was getting in contact. So we're at the end of 14 months. We know the unit coming in is going to have fewer people, less combat experience. And for us, our job's not over until your boots on the ground back at home. Wouldn't have mattered if we were staged at Bagram getting ready, waiting on a flight to go back to Italy. If we got the call to go out, we're going out. So we accepted that, let's set this new unit up for success. We broke down some other bases. We moved into this village, trying to just build a new base. On the 5th day, we were attacked. There's about 48 Americans on the ground, 25 Afghan National Army partners, and we were attacked by about 200 enemy fighters or more. They had us fully surrounded, element of surprise. They had moved into as close as 5 to 10 yards in some places. Hand grenade range. Over cover at night, they fought like we did. We'd seen over the course of the deployment, they would do planning like we would, make a terrain model on the ground, show where support by fire and assault elements are going to be. In the end of the day, we lost 9 guys: Sergio Abad, Jonathan Ayers, Jason Bogard, Jonathan Brostrom, Israel Garcia, Jason Hovader, Matthew Phillips, Pruitt Rainey, and Gunnar Zwilling. We had 27 wounded. We held our ground. And everything I did was, I got space and time to do what I did because the other guys made sacrifices of blood in their lives so that I could keep doing the same things that they were doing just for a little bit longer. And it was, the culmination of everything a team is supposed to be, right? I wasn't surprised by the things guys on the ground did. There were guys like Jonathan Ayers, who I named off. He took a round directly to his helmet and got right back on a machine gun and kept fighting until the death. Israel Garcia gave his life for mine in a final reinforcement of the observation post. But even bigger than that, the teams that came to support us, like the Apache pilots, the medevac crews were putting their aircraft on the line, landing under fire. Their guys are running off. It was just at every level. People you've never even served with, didn't know you, couldn't even tell you what unit you were in, but were showing up and putting their lives and their crews on the line. Because that's what's expected of us. That's what our team does.
Right. I love you saying that. It's wild, like in football, that we even try to compare ourselves as being tough or any of these things. I always say, we get to play a game, but we just want to create a mindset, I guess, of that kind of level of toughness. You sharing that, man, it brings back some tough memories for me as well. I don't know if you know my story, but in 2006, when I was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, my best friend, college roommate, guy I grew up with, Lee Hamilton Deal, was killed in action 2 weeks after I was drafted. He was in the Navy. He was a med doc. He was a special recon doc on a SARC team. And, they were clearing a room and a fake wall and got ambushed. And he had gotten injured a couple of days before from a roadside bomb situation, and was like, no, I'm going out with my team. I have to be with my team, and went. They got ambushed, and he was unfortunately killed in action. But for me, it's been something that's been a massive blessing because it's helped me be inspired to get involved in military groups and throughout my career, having a big involvement. And that led actually to our other 2 friends going and becoming Navy SEALs. And they came to the funeral got to visit with some of Lee's troops and like that were back, and that inspired them to go become Navy SEALs. So Fitz knows this, but I actually have my back is tatted of Lee's gravestone, basically, of his time on this earth and some of our favorite things together and our words and stuff. And so, for me, man, I have the utmost respect for what you guys have done and do for us to have anything we have in this world. I believe my opportunities in life come from people like you, man, that protect the freedoms and the opportunities that we all have, man. So I just want to tell you thank you.
I appreciate that, man. I did look up on Lee a little bit, read about him, saw he was a corpsman. Dude, you probably heard it from all his buddies, but those Marines love their corpsmen, man. They love their corpsmen. They keep them alive, and I'm sure he was a special part of that team, man. I think about that because, like, my own, experience with losing guys, you gotta like flip that script and be like, I gotta live a life worthy of their sacrifice, right? Just keep going on and be grateful for the gift and to have that inspiration and to know that, like, you're right, man. Like, he probably wouldn't have traded any of the other guys on his team's lives for his own. Like, if it had to go down that way, that's the way you would have wanted it to be.
We really appreciate you sharing that story. And I know no matter how far removed you are from that, I'm sure it's difficult thinking about it and rehashing it and telling it every time. But we do appreciate you sharing that. And, just the word sacrifice, you've certainly lived it. And the question I wanted to ask you, so how did it feel to receive that Medal of Honor? I feel like, Josh Allen last year won the MVP, and his thought was like it was all about his teammates, and that's all he wanted to talk about. For you, what did it feel like for you receiving that Medal of Honor?
It was the same thing, man. It was 6 years from my action, so I'd kind of like moved on with my life. It was something that was kind of very just personal that I just shared with the guys there. And then it, kind of blew up, and I remember that morning, it was really hard for me because they'll give you a police escort from your hotel over to the White House. You go into the Oval Office, the president signs the award there that morning in front of you and your family. And I remember walking over to the East Wing or the West Wing. Yeah, it was the East Wing. And just feeling like unworthy, man. Like that, how do I deserve something when 9 guys didn't come home, 8 of them were at my position, a bunch of them died saving my life. And it was tough for me to stomach the fact that, like, I was receiving this individual award, but it wasn't until I changed my perspective and started to look at it as like, this is an individual award, but it's for a collective effort. Like, this represents the sacrifices and the actions of everybody on that team that day. Because it could have been one of them. It easily could have been anyone else. If I had moved, half inch left or right, second off, it could have been one of them and not me. But it gives me an opportunity to keep their memory alive. Like, you're right, Ryan. Like, sometimes it was hard to talk about them, but it's also like the easiest thing to find words. Like, you have to. They're not here to talk about themselves. We got to continue to share their stories. Like, my kids need to know that their dad's here because guy's better than their dad made sure he came home.
For you, how have you been able to help guys, even yourself, deal with, hey, now that I'm out of uniform, have pride in who I am and what I'm about, and kind of finding that, if you want to call it like comfortable landing once you're out of that grind?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still figuring it out, man. The way I look at it is like life transition from the military is going to be a lifelong transition because it was a benchmark experience. I compare everything to that: leadership, team, organization, culture, all of it. And, I think I do some different activities, engaging with military families and veterans on the transition, just trying to like find that right fit, right? Like, this is now becoming a time where you get to really be selfish, and that's really uncomfortable, for a lot of us in uniform because you never really got to choose, you were kind of doing what you were told. But they need to think about that and not be afraid of going after, whatever it is they want to do. That they have a tremendous amount of skills, both the military spouses and the veterans, that they can bring to the communities, but also like continue to take care of yourself, right? Like it was hard for me, like, losing that identity. I agree, man. It was like losing a compass. I felt lost. It was like, that was a family that I was a part of, and then just taken out of it. And you're like, what's my purpose anymore? I was living for people around me. And it's a little bit harder, but you got to just work at keeping in touch with your brothers and sisters in uniform. Because we're still family, even though we took it off.
In my notes here, it says you're a football coach for your son. Is that what age group we talking about here?
Yeah, come on, talk to me here.
I feel like I got to clarify. So, like, I'm an assistant coach, but I mean, given my football knowledge, I'm more like an assistant to the coaches. But it's been fun. I loved it. So I helped coach my son's flag football teams before NFL Play 60. We got like a dome in town. So he's been doing flag forever, been around a bunch of these kids. Last year was his first year with tackle. This was my first year coaching, and loved it, right? I actually listened to your podcast yesterday, and I heard you, Whit, talking about the kids coming up and being like, oh, coach, can I go in? I'm ready to go in, coach. When am I going in? Am I going in the next play? And that took me back to like every game. They're following me around. My technique sometimes would be like, I just wait for the next play, or I'd be like, go ask coach so-and-so.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Hey, go ask coach down the furthest one down the sideline. Go ask that one down there.
Yeah. But like, just like you said, though, you got to love the passion. Like, these kids are hungry. They just want to get out there, and continuing to cultivate that. It was awesome to see them. I guess I kind of forgot at that age, like how these kids are still learning about like what it means to be a team. Like, how do you give feedback when somebody's messing up, but not destroy the culture in the process of doing that? Figuring out, okay, what is my authentic leadership style? Because I think that's one thing a lot of people get wrong is they're like, oh, I saw so-and-so lead in this way. Yeah. That's the only way to do it. It's like, no, you kind of got to be like who you are.
When you talk about some of these guys that have achieved, men and women that have done these special things, how do you try to get them and encourage them to tell their stories and to share what they've been through in a positive light as well, that it makes them special?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big one is about service, right? Like, a lot of veterans, they don't like being thanked for your service. But, I try to think of it as like, this isn't about the servant. It's about service. Service is what's important, right? And like, just the fact that you chose, like, we don't get to choose all in the military exactly where we're boots on the ground, right now they're out there in the skies, on the water, underwater, on the ground, doing what their country tells them to do. And, it's a big pet peeve of mine too. When I go around and I thank veterans for their service and they'll say, oh, I didn't do what you did. And I'm like, I don't know what you did. I wasn't in you may have been in your own situations that were just as scary as mine. Or not, whatever. You've attacked everything that's been put in front of you, and you should be proud that you stood as a part of this long line of Americans that have continued to say this is worth defending. And I think it's important, though, too, is to like these stories that we share, they inspire future generations, right? Like, just like on any team, like the legends of people that came before makes it seem like, okay, maybe that's doable. And you spend a whole bunch of time going, I'm never going to be that good. But I'll bet you that guy or that gal went through the same thing and thought they'd never be as good as the leaders that came before them. The important part is that you try.
Well, dude, don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do want to thank you. Thank you for allowing us on Thursday Night Football to highlight your story a little bit, and thank you for taking the time today. We really appreciate it, and both of us are just in awe of you and everything that you've accomplished. And really now just – we didn't know going into this how this conversation was going to go, but what a great dude. We want to go have a beer and hang out with you, man.
Stay wet.
No doubt. Stay wet. Yes, we're in. Let's go.
If you guys want to go to a Pats game, just let me know. I'll get some tickets.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that is week 10 in a nutshell. Hopefully we'll get a little more clarity coming up in week 11, but this is the NFL season in 2025, which means there will be more craziness for sure. Just want to say thank you to Sergeant Ryan Pitts for joining us. That was a really special treat. That was awesome. To support the mission of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society and Foundation, text the word HONOR, HONOR, to 345-345. So that's it for us. We'll be back next Wednesday with all the biggest news from Week 11. Fitz and Whit is a Wave original. Ryan Pitts, Cam Jordan, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to our production crew, and thanks again to all you beardos for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.